Okay, it's good to see everyone. Thanks for coming out. Update you a little bit on our team and then move forward. Josh Smith had an exploratory procedure where they go in, determine if you need surgery or not. My definition of surgery and Jimmy Himes is two totally different things, but we're working to get on the same page here. But they did go in there and they did decide that he did need surgery, so he did have surgery. He had his ankle scoped. They tightened the joint up, and nothing like starting game week again, right? So they tightened the joint up. He'll be out the rest of the season, and we'll have him back for spring football. So we were hoping to get him back, but just the ankle wasn't healing appropriately, so it's disappointing, but exciting that we gained the year back in terms of a redshirt year, so we'll have him back. In terms of the bye week, everything is about your approach, how you approach the bye week. I thought our players' mindset and their overall approach to the bye week made it a very productive work week. We were able to accomplish many things, but now it's about handling the transition from a bye week to a game week. Our mental effort, our focus, our intensity of preparing for our opponent, getting back into a rhythm, a structure, a routine. So we started the week off yesterday with a practice. I thought it was a very productive practice. Talking about the game, we're going to need all of 102,455. There's 1,000 tickets left for the game. I believe it'll be our fourth sellout, which is amazing. Our fan base has been outstanding, our student body, and we're going to need at 4 o'clock to make Neyland another great home field advantage for us. So we need everyone to come out and continue to support us, which they have. For us, it starts with eliminating the big plays. We've given up way too many big plays over the course of a couple weeks. We need to get back to playing our style of defense. Third downs, as we all know, we've done very well, and in the last couple weeks, we've struggled in that area, so we have to do a good job. And you say why? I think there's a number of reasons. We haven't been ahead of the sticks, and then it's tackling and maintaining our points of pressure on the quarterback. 2 weeks ago, they were able to get, I believe, a 3rd and 16. It was just defensive tackle coming around, didn't maintain his leverage point on the quarterback, and there you go, impactful play, and they get a first down. So it's really getting back to the fine details of playing winning football. Our overall communication, when you play at home, when you go on the road, the crowd noise obviously affects your offense. When you play at home, the crowd noise impacts your defense. And so again, it's our defense understanding how to communicate when we play home games. So we've really stressed that, and then overall ball security. But as a football team, we've challenged everyone to play their best football in our program. And right now we have way too many health and depth concerns, but you can't fix depth overnight. I know people want instant gratification. I know that they want instant results, but you fix your depth through recruiting. And as we know, recruiting and building a program is a process. So again, we've challenged everyone to step up and impact this football team in one way, shape, form, or another. You got 100 yards of down-ups. We start things on time around here. But again, we're going to take a bet to see if you can even accomplish that too. But everything is about your special teams depth, and that's showing as well. And so we just have to continue to recruit to that, but we need more individuals to step up and impact the game. Moving on to Kentucky, you start with them offensively. Very explosive, up-tempo. Everything starts with the quarterback. Patrick Towles, know all about him. Even though he's from Kentucky, he's from Highlands, but that's right across the river in Cincinnati. So we are involved in the recruitment of him. He's a winner, has won numerous state championships, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. The major difference we believe in their offense is their speed. They've really improved their overall speed, especially on the perimeter. They have some bigger-bodied guys up front, and they're scoring a lot of points. And again, they're going to play with a lot of up-tempo, fast paced, so we have to be ready. Again, that's why the communicative aspect is imperative in moving forward. Defensively, older veteran group up front have done a very good job. They're down by 7 to the number 1 team in the country entering the fourth quarter. Again, they've improved their speed in the back end. They're +8 in turnover margin. And getting back to offensively, I believe they're 1 or 2 in the country in fourth downs. They've gone for it 20 times. So again, not just playing third down, we have to have the mindset to play through 4 downs of football. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Both of these teams, both these programs have kind of had a few losing seasons lately, had really good recruiting classes coming in. Do you see similarities between the two programs, and how much is going to be kind of a gauge of where both of y'all are in kind of that process?
Every week's a new season. I'm concerned with us and the progress that we're making. And again, it's the fine details, it's the consistency that we talk about each and every day, but they've done a good job. Mark has done an exceptional job there. Again, being at Cincinnati, knew all about the Kentucky program. A lot of the players on their team we recruited when we were at Cincinnati. Have a lot of respect for him as a coach and what he's building there. But, all our efforts are on, how can we continue to make Tennessee a better football program minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day, and that's what we focus on.
Do you think it was good to have an open day just in terms of being able to maybe come down off the high of that overtime?
I do. I think the bye week came at the appropriate time for a number of reasons. First and foremost, the grind. As we all know, our depth is very minimal and very limited. So it was an opportunity to get our health back a little bit, as much as you can. 1 week isn't going to get your health back, but also to take a break in terms of the mentality, the mental approach. But also, when you're as young as we are and developing, also you have to maximize practice opportunities. So it was a fine line of, trying to create that depth, which I spoke about, particularly on special teams and, across the board, but also gain as much health as you can and also prepare. So it was a combination of a lot of things. But now, again, with this young football team is, how do you handle now going from a work week to now game week preparation? But I did think it was very productive for us. We needed it.
Butch, did you sense in any way you had a tired football team coming out of South Carolina going into the open day? And could you tell the difference with them yesterday in terms of maybe energy, legs, all that stuff?
I wouldn't necessarily say tired. I would say this, though, the grind of a long season, and I spoke about it prior to the South Carolina game, is the accumulation of reps, and it adds up over time. And you look at all the teams that challenge for championships in November, they stay healthy, and if they don't stay healthy, they have great depth in their program. So the amount of repetitions had really started to increase, so to be able to go back, but also go back to the fundamentals and the fine details and the style of play, which we talk about each and every day. I did sense a little bounce in their step. They understand what's at stake. They're looking forward to playing at home. But you put yourself in position to play meaningful games in November, and there's a lot that this team is playing for. So I've liked our approach, but I've liked our approach all year.
What did you see out of Dobbs yesterday back on the practice field in terms of just his approach and his consistency?
Needs to work on it. Not what we needed. And again, it's easy to write things when you watch a game or two, but we see it every day in practice, and there's a lot different. And Josh knows it. For us to be successful, he has to play with great consistency day in and day out. And that's his biggest challenge. And he understands it. We work it each and every day. We talk about it. But we need much more consistency, not just from him, but if it's Nate Peterman, who's ever our quarterback, but just, being able to make the routine plays. And Josh, in game situations, has done a very good job of that in managing the offense. But the more you put your identity on video, the more there is, the more the different game plans you're going to see, all the different looks you're going to see, because they have more opportunities to game plan you now because of your video.
I imagine Josh's mobility has helped quite a bit with the offensive line, but other than that, what's the difference you've seen in this offensive line? Last couple games, they've only given up a couple sets.
anytime you can have a threat of a running quarterback, that changes the dynamics up front from the defense, being gap conscious, being able to account for the quarterback. I think the offensive line has continued to be work in progress. We're still work in progress. I do believe that they've continued to grow and develop. I think Jalen Hurd has helped a lot. I think our offensive coaches have done a good job of playing to the strengths of our players, the ability to win some one-on-one matchups out on the perimeter. So I think it's a combination of a lot of little things which obviously add up to big things.
I want to go back to Josh Smith real quick. When you talk about the exploratory part of it, did they find anything more than a high ankle sprain?
No. Yeah, that's kind of like the injury of the year. If you look around, it's like the West Coast offense, the spread offense. Now it's the high ankle sprain. And it's been one of those years for us. And each individual it takes differently. You look at Von Pearson. Really, it was amazing that he was back, the way his body recovered, where Josh was just the opposite. So, there's kind of a new procedure that they've been doing to try to take care of that and tighten up the ankle. So we felt that we needed to do that to get him back for spring football. Josh means so much to us, not just because he's a good football player, but he's tough. He brings a whole nother element. He brings an identity. He brings a personality to our football team.
Other than his injury, is everybody else expected to be a go this weekend?
Tavares Salisbury will still be out. He's the only one as of to date right now that we expect everyone else to play Saturday afternoon.
Where's Marquez and his kind of recovery, and what's...
He was back at practice yesterday. So we fully anticipate him playing Saturday.
What is his injury? I don't know if we've ever asked that specifically. What's Marquez doing?
Marquez, he's had a shoulder.
Coach, to talk about depth, where is Rashawn Golden, Mario Mixon, Dwayne Hendricks? Where are some of these guys at with coming off the bye week to try to help provide depth?
That's why the bye week was very, very critical for us, to be able, for those individuals that you just mentioned, to gain valuable repetitions. We did a lot of scrimmage situations. We just let them play football, and it was kind of interesting to see, when you're out there and you have all your freshmen out there competing, who sticks out when you have all the freshmen and you have kind of the same age level. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, wow, playing the inordinate amount of freshmen that we're playing, these individuals have done a tremendous job. Now, the individuals you spoke about, I think Rashawn Golden continues to grow and develop and get better and better. Obviously, it's hard to play when you have a wrist or a cast on your wrist, but he's made the best of it. He's really starting to take off in special teams. Actually, he had his black stripe removed yesterday, and they spoke about the difference he's making in special teams. And so I'm very encouraged by what I see. Demario Mixon, work in progress, still lacks at times the intensity that it takes to play defensive tackle in this conference. But again, he's a freshman. He's done a very good job of continuing to add the weight on. But it's just an overall style of play, a relentlessness, which we speak about all the time.
What about Todd Kelly Jr.? We saw him quite a bit earlier in the year, not as much lately. Did he benefit from last week, and if so, how?
Absolutely. TK is one of those individuals, again, where you learn by valuable repetitions, and you try to create hypothetical situations in practice and game opportunities, and you could see where he was one of those individuals who stuck out. The big thing for Todd has been just the overall mental grind. That's the things that a lot of people don't realize. These are still 17, 18-year-old kids, and the mental grind of a long season adds up, from classes, academic workload, different game plans each and every week, the amount of video study that's required for your opponent. And Todd's a very, very smart individual. But again, a lot of times we put a lot of expectations and standards on these young individuals, but they're still kids and they're still developing. And I think Todd is a great illustration of that. So he did benefit, and I expect him playing more for us defensively Saturday.
You mentioned Dobbs needs to work on it in practice. Is his situation merely a lack of focus? Is that what is not there in practice?
No, It's fundamentals. You know, Josh is a very focused young man. That's one of his strengths. He's very focused, very even-keeled. We all know about his intelligence, the care factor, all that. He has the quarterback intangibles. It's the overall consistency with his elbow, with how he releases the ball from, his feet. You throw with your feet, setting in the pocket, throwing a catchable football. And he's improved tremendously from the start of August camp to where he is now. And that's a great compliment to him. But I continue to say it, the expectation in our football program is every quarterback prepares week in and week out as though they're going to be the starting quarterback because they're one snap away. But Jimmy, just a high level of consistency, making the routine throw. When we run a 5-step hitch, ball location. The great quarterbacks, they defeat tight coverage with ball location. He did a very good job of it in the South Carolina game, managing 2 1-minute drills. He impacted the game, and if you look at it, his ball location, take away 2 throws was probably the best that he's had. So he understands it. He works it every day. He works it after practice, and it's getting better. But it's just a point of contention with him every day. But it's not a lack of focus. He's as focused and determined of a young man as we have in our football program.
Coach, you talked about making November, playing games where it's meaningful in November. Do you point to last year and how close you can be to bowl eligibility and have that taken away?
I don't need to. This is a different team. The dynamics are different. That's why each year is a different team. It has a different personality. Our players understand what's at stake. The thing you don't want to do is you don't want to create stress on them. They understand what they're playing for. They've put themselves in position. I hope everybody truly understands the magnitude of that win at South Carolina. It's never happened in the history of Tennessee football. And we've been playing football here now for 118 years. It's the biggest come-from-behind win of 14 points, I believe, in less than 4 minutes. And you look at ESPN, we had a 0.9% chance of winning that football game. And that's a great illustration of that continual growth and development and belief that you're going to find a way to win a football game. And we are able to do that now. The more you win, the more that's at stake. So, what do you do? Does that drive you more? Are you satisfied with it? Last year, I believe we got satisfied at times. There was nothing to be satisfied for. Where now we've put ourselves in position for a postseason opportunity, go take advantage of it. But I have to go back to power of 1. Before you can get anywhere, it starts with getting victory number 5. And we're playing a team that comes in. There's no mistake about it. We all know that they're fighting for the same thing we're fighting for. So again, it comes down to execution, playing our style of play, and having a mentality. But execution's the biggest thing. And I know Coach Stoops is telling his team the same thing.
I'm assuming Coleman Thomas is back, and we're
Yeah.
at the right tackle position from a competition standpoint this week.
Coleman Thomas is back. He's practicing. But right now, Jacob's our right tackle.
Butch, you've had to prepare against a lot of mobile quarterbacks in this league for 2 years. How tough is it during the week to game plan for one of those guys when you could do almost everything right, but then it'll break down and go scramble for 20 yards?
Well, it is, and that's what makes, him dynamic. That's what makes him who he is the ability to create plays with his legs, and that's the element that Josh brings to us. You can be perfect. We like guys that make you right when you're wrong, and they can change the complexion of the game, and it still comes down to one-on-one matchups. Whether it's the defensive tackle looping, and he has contained on the quarterback, whether it's a corner and press coverage, offensive and defensive lines are a fist fight in a phone booth. That's all it is. It's one-on-one matchups. It's basically wrestling. And so there's so much that goes into it, but when you can have players that can create plays on their own, that's another challenge.
Which I don't know if you saw the Utah-Oregon game, but one of Utah players dropped the ball before he scored. Have you ever had that happen with one of your players? You've seen that before?
I have not, but we've come close. We have what we call the score standard. We talk about it every day. We practice it. It's part of our style of play. And the score standard is we grip the ball up, we chin it, and we flip the ball to the official. Now, have we executed it flawlessly this year? No. But we talk about that all the time, and that's called the score standard in our program.
Did you get to watch any of live football over Dubai?
I did. A lot. You know, it's kind of, I think we're probably a messed up family. We're at a great restaurant Saturday night, and sport coat required, and I have Barb and the boys, and we're sitting there, and I think there was a no cell phone policy, and I looked down, and the whole family's got their cell phones under the table getting score updates. So, yeah.
Auburn game?
All of them. There are some good football games on, so, you know, your family gets conditioned, you know, for football season, and you have a lot of friends across the country that compete, and then you're thinking of your football team and all that. So when you have a bye week, you like to take advantage to be able to watch other people play and maybe not have the stress that normal Saturday would bring about.
Coach, when you watched Kentucky over the week, did you see any similarities defensively, what they're doing and what Oklahoma with the Stu brothers? Is there any similarities?
Yes, a lot of similarities in terms of some fronts, some coverages, some blitz schemes. So there is a lot of similarities to both.
What did you see from Derek Barnett before the season that made you all confident he could do what he's been doing on the part of the season?
Great competitor. Has an internal drive, very intelligent in his effort. Usually, you know, when a young player comes into your program, you have to spend an inordinate amount of time on your style of play. The effort that's required, the small details, and he came in, and right from the get-go, he had another gear to himself, another level. Is, like I said, a great competitor. We want competitive greatness, and he's done a very, very good job with that. Mature beyond his years.
What were your expectations for him going into the season?
Really didn't know what to expect. Derek was an individual that wasn't here at spring football, so really you know what you're getting when you show up in August. You know, we had with some of the rule changes, you know, to prepare mentally, but you never really knew. And then, you know, could he maintain that throughout the course of a long training camp and then obviously into the season? And he's proven that, and he's making an impact. I don't know where we'd be without him. He's done a great job. In what we've asked of him, you know, I believe he's the first, is he not the first freshman to start at defensive end in our history? You know, in the opening game. That's pretty remarkable.
I think he had around 100 snaps in the South Carolina game.
Yeah.
Why is that the tempo better and you know, why is it better?
Well, we were able to generate first downs on first and second down. We were able to get into a rhythm. We had some big splash plays, which helps, but we were able to move the football. And so in conjunction, you know, that helps with the amount of plays that you're able to run. But we didn't have to, you know, we had some big splash plays, but first and second down are critical. And then we did some good thing on third downs in some critical situations as well. But I thought we were able to really establish a rhythm and a tempo by which we want to play with.
Did you let little John call any plays in practice yesterday, or is he purely a spectator?
It was great to have him at practice. I know our players enjoyed that, and that's the power of Tennessee. And he was in town and wanted to come over and be a part of practice and all that, so it was great to see. And the first thing he said to me is, "I can't believe practice, it's chaos." And I said, "It's controlled chaos." But it was great to have him, but no, he didn't call any plays.
You talked about just the grind for a team, especially a rebuilding team. This will be the 8th straight week for Kentucky playing a game. Is that grind starting to wear on them a little bit?
I don't know. I'm not, you know, I don't see their players every day. I'm sure they have a great handle on it, but I know for us, all I can speak of for us is, you know, this conference is a grind, and not only physically but mentally as well. And then everywhere you go on the road, you're playing in hostile environments, and so this is a conference that's unyielding. It's relentless with everything that you do, and it does take its toll on a football team. But I can't speak for them. All I can do is speak for us. All right, thanks.